The 2022 CrossFit Games season is about to start. The Open is in a couple days, which means in our online training program, TTT Compete, we are moving into our open season cycle. This means we are preparing all athletes, no matter what your athletic level is, for the upcoming season. For intermediate athletes, that means the goal is that you're trying to put your best foot forward and try to qualify into the quarterfinals. That means you're going to be repeating all the workouts. Your major goal is to make it into the top 10%, and all of the weekly training is going to be focused on you optimizing your performance in that open workout. So we're going to do repeats of the workouts, and all of the training is going to be optimized so that way you can crush that one workout of the week and hopefully make it into the next stage of the Open. Now, the next tier up of athletes is athletes that we expect to make it into the quarterfinals, and that's our RX division. The goal of that is to peak for quarterfinals, meaning we're going to go into the Open with a one and done mentality. You're going to do the open workout, and we're only going to train through the Open without trying to put a lot of focus on that one workout. It's more for fun and to get an intense stimulus. For athletes in this RX division and Masters division and Elite division, we are also going to have a quarterfinal simulation weekend that happens within the Open, so that way you can prepare for the stressors that are coming in the quarterfinals. But the major theme is that we are training through the Open with a goal of peaking in quarterfinals for RX athletes. For our Ys among us in the Masters division, it's going to be a similar style of training as the RX division, except the timelines are a little bit different because quarterfinals is actually 5 weeks after the last Open workout. So the goal is to peak for the age group qualifiers for the Masters athletes. We're still going to take that one and done focus through the Open, and we're going to have training progressions that lead all the way in through that age group qualifier, which means you have a pretty good cycle to train all the way through your quarterfinals to make sure that you're as prepared as possible if you're a Masters athlete. And then finally, our elite athletes. For these athletes, the goal is to make semifinals. We know there's not many of these athletes in the world, and it's super difficult to try to peak in the season, given that there's 4 different semifinal weekends. So we're going to kind of do something a little bit special for semifinal athletes that are in the elite division this year. 4 athletes in the programming posting from the time the Open starts that actually make it into semifinals. We are going to do some personalized coaching for the athletes that make it, meaning we're going to individualize and tailor your training through the path so that way you can peak at the right time and have some additional accessory work that's guided towards your strengths and your weaknesses, and have some strategy sessions as you approach semifinals so that way you could be as optimally prepared as possible, knowing that you're following a group program into the season. So that covers all of our divisions and all of the athletic levels of athletes that are going to go into the 2022 CrossFit Open in our TTT Compete program. For all 4 of these divisions, we're going to make sure through the Open you have tips, demo videos, and strategy sessions for the Open workouts and the quarterfinals, whether you're in the individual quarterfinal, the team quarterfinal, or in the Masters quarterfinal. So if you want to prepare for the 2022 season with us, this is what you have to look forward to, and I hope to see you in the program. And now, me and 3 of our coaches are going to sit down and go more in depth into how we prepare for the 2022 season in the program.
And we just realized that Mia's mic was unplugged, but you can still hear everything perfectly fine.
Recording. Here. We're live.
Brandon, kick us off.
I love it. We are starting the CrossFit Games season for 2022, and this is our Open update cycle video. We wanted to basically walk everyone through what the plan is for each of the divisions, because this is the time of year where everything is a little bit different from division to division.
Should we call this the No Castro season?
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm kind of sad about that.
It's going to be interesting because he'll do the actual Open workouts, but then not quarterfinals, I don't think.
I'm so interested to see what the difference is.
Have you seen?
Is he dropping hints this year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen people like tagging posts like PC, like pre-COVID on dates?
Oh, no.
We're gonna have a post-Castro PR.
I really am interested in all of that. So to kick us off, we're going to talk about the intermediate path first, because you will be doing test and retest of each Open workout.
So intermediate path peaks for stage 1 of the Open. So we are currently starting our taper, or in our taper into the, when does this video come out?
The Open starts soon, and that's the peak of our season.
This week.
The Open starts in 10 days from right now.
Yes.
So you guys might see this in like 8 days or, yeah.
So will be completely different from the rest of the cycles. We are retesting workouts, so your weekly schedule, our Thursday will be rest day as usual. The workout comes out. That's when everything posts from us. We are going to put out a demo and tip videos, all of that. And the week's training come out that night, but intermediate should just know that Friday they're going to be doing the first workout of the open. And then basically your week is created around recovering.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that, but what I told everybody last year, and we'll say it again, is basically deal with it, because this is what you're training for all season long.
Yeah.
And you're only competing for these 3 weeks, unless you make it to quarterfinals, which hopefully you do, but that's only another week, and then you have the whole rest of the season to build again. So try to get rid of that mentality of, oh, I have to hit my linear back squat progressions during this, or I'm losing fitness, because you're not losing fitness. You're tapered so that you feel good, so that you can test appropriately.
Yeah, it should be your Super Bowl. Like, this is your championship, so make sure that you're focused and recovering so you can do your best.
So the Open is my Super Bowl.
It
this
is,
year.
yes, exactly. How are you going to do?
I'm in the intermediate division for sure. We'll see if I make the top 10%.
Yeah, I think it's important. That's for those that are truly committed to wanting to do their absolute best in the open. For those that are following intermediate to just get better in CrossFit and aren't necessarily like throwing all their eggs in the basket of the open, which is fine. I would say like pick and choose from some of maybe the RX strength progressions or things that are in there if you want to continue training. But like Mia has built a solid plan for those in intermediate that like want to have their best possible chance of making quarterfinals. So stick to that and trust the plan, and like be okay with, fitness not feeling super rounded, because it's basically setting you up to perform.
I actually would agree with Mia and tell you to suck it up and do less training volume and think of it like a 3-week competition prep cycle, because if you are an intermediate athlete and you're aspiring to become RX or elite, which is how we build the program, you are going to have to get good at doing qualifier workouts, resting a couple days and repeating them. And you don't really have that many opportunities every year to do that and practice it. So if we've set up the training all year, then you really only have to do it for 2 weeks. It's one open work on a Thursday, then the next Thursday is 1 week later, and then the third Thursday is 2 weeks later. So it's like 2 weeks and 3 days that you have to be in competition mode. You're not going to lose fitness, and it would be helpful for you to develop that competition skill.
Yeah, retesting workouts is a skill.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you think this year you're not going to make top 10%, but your goal is to make that in the future, you need to start practicing retesting workouts now. So I think commit to the process, and if you don't care about the open, then just recognize that you're in a program that
cares about the open.
So anyways, the week is created to recover. So Saturday will be recovery work, and then also some skill work on the open workout. So maybe a new movement comes out and people do it the first time and we learn a ton from it, so we're going to practice that movement or practice a few rounds of the workout depending on what it is. But it's geared towards that retest and towards recovering and creating better pacing strategy and becoming more efficient with the movements. Sunday is off, Monday retest, Tuesday is
Super Bowl Monday.
Super Bowl Monday.
Love it.
Super Bowl repeat Monday.
Really good.
your training day of the week. I try to pack in there movements that could come out that haven't come out yet, strength touches to maintain as much as we can, and then Wednesday we're already tapering back into the next workout. Rest Thursday,
Super Bowl Friday.
go again.
So many
So you
Super
got
Bowls.
6 Super Bowls in the open this year.
So that'll be the structure that they can expect during the stage 1 of the open.
So that's the open 3 weeks. If they make it, then
If you make it, get out of here.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So if they make it, they move to RX. If they don't make it, you guys move into an off season?
Pre-limiter season.
Pre-limiter. It's basically an off season that holds you over until we're done with all of the quarterfinal seasons.
Right, so it'll be about 3 weeks because we have the week after stage 1, and then we have the week of stage 2 where RX will be competing, and then there'll be another week where RX is recovering from competing, and then we bridge our powers.
We link back up.
United.
During those 3 weeks, I want to spend a lot of time on like base gymnastic strength work because we do a lot of skill work, and it's hard to fit in a ton of like touches on all of the gymnastic strength things, for lack of a better word, that you need during a CrossFit cycle. So that's going to be like what we're just throwing all of our eggs into that basket while still doing like linear strength progressions, rebuilding those things. But it will not be very CrossFit-y. So get your CrossFit kick during stage 1.
Yeah, during the Super
like
Bowl,
it.
get
Yeah.
your CrossFit in.
The one thing I would note is if you don't get or you don't qualify in the top 10%, the likelihood is that some of those gymnastics bottlenecks were like the biggest limiters that you have. And so spending time back in the intermediate path for that makes a lot of sense. And the other thing too is that's the same thing for RX. So if an RX athlete, if you're in the RX division, but you don't qualify, then you should go to intermediate for those 3 weeks and really start practicing and dialing in the movement patterns, gymnastics, and then you can move back to RX later on.
I did also give the option last year, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this. If you were close or if you expect to make it next year and you want to try quarterfinals, I say go for it. This is a time of year to compete, you're peaked for it, and then come back afterwards.
Yeah, you basically get the data to know what you need to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're extending it another week and a half, basically. Like you have the rest week between week 3 and the quarterfinal week, and then you do that weekend. So it's not like, looking at the grand scheme of the year, it's not a massive amount of time.
Should we segue smoothly into the RX division?
Yes.
Yeah, this was a slippery, rough waters, but I was thinking
a
of
bumpy
a smooth
segue,
snake.
a hilly segue.
Slimy snake.
Yeah, so RX group, we are continuously building on progressions to peak for stage 2. So the first 3 weeks of the open are a bit of a ramp up, starting to really test out, feel your engine, feel your capacity on things, start to really dial in your performance. We're taking the open serious, but we're not formatting it in a way that you are structured around repeating any of the workouts. So the idea here is workout comes out Thursday night. I'm telling some people in the videos, like if you have the ability and structure and environment support to go ahead and knock it out, that way you can get training in Friday, Saturday, rest Sunday, and get back on track Monday. We're not structuring it that way or writing that specifically in the group. We're actually going to write it as like a Friday AM piece, and then we'll have some strength work Friday PM or a second session for those in the RX. And then Saturday will be normal training and so forth. Monday training, Tuesday training, Wednesday training. And we'll continue that for 3 weeks. And then week 2 of the open, we're going to do a simulation weekend. We did this last year and we had great success on making this kind of like a mock weekend of getting ready for quarterfinals. So we'll have 4 to 5 different tests. We're going to build them obviously once the second open workout is released, and we'll do these on Friday and Saturday that weekend. You can space them out however you want. If you want to do them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's fine too, but that next Monday will be lighter. So that'll be somewhat of like a deload, lower intensity, lower volume training week going into the final workout of the open or of the first stage for week 3. And then after week 3, we'll have another ramp up for a couple of days, and then we'll back off and taper down going into quarterfinals.
The one thing I'll mention with our kind of like prep weekend, we'll set up a full competition leaderboard, just kind of like what we do with our throwdowns, but we'll have those 4 or 5 workouts so that people are having a full experience of like going through this kind of scrimmage of what it's going to feel like for quarterfinals. And like Mike mentioned, that was super successful last year. And I think it was just really good for people to kind of get used to doing kind of bunching 4 or 5 workouts into 2 days.
Yeah, and what we're going to do too, for those that have the ability to, I understand this isn't quarterfinals, so like you can't put your gym on pause and like take up all this space, but we are going to say this is the order that we would ask for you to do them to practice setting it up just how quarterfinals is done, where they said these 2 had to be done by this point, these 2 had to be done. So we'll give you an order to do them, to give you as much of a close simulation as possible to practice that.
I don't know if we agreed to this, and I don't know if I want to commit to this, but are we going to do floor plans?
Oh, I don't know. We'd have to build it all like that night.
Yeah,
so
true.
stand by on that.
We'll see. To be determined.
We will have some notes in there of recommended floor plans.
We're definitely, we're not probably going to like draw little Lego man pictures or anything, but I don't know why I just had a detailed like page 1. This block goes here. Figure this block is grayed out. It's coming next. I think we will build consistent. We'll write in detailed notes for sure of like this is how we would like you to set it up. We just may not be like written out and like illustrated by
the goal of these weekends is really to practice the repeated intensity, getting warmed up, knowing your fueling, just having all of the things that you can control under control, and dealing with some of the anxiety and the leaderboard stress and pressure, and knowing that in the open, for sure, that second test is going to be something that you are going max effort on. So practicing then after that, doing another max effort test, it just gives you a good feel for the style of test that comes out in quarterfinals where you don't really have the option to repeat. I mean, some people did on short turnaround times, but
it's really hard to do that.
It's very hard. There's
yeah.
a much lower success rate of repeats in that format versus the open where you only have that one test to worry about.
Yeah, I feel like quarterfinals last year, the only one I saw people repeating was the dumbbell double under one. And it was like 100% out of necessity because
they missed double unders or something.
All the standards too, like they started telling people like, no, like this dumbbell doesn't count. So it was like people like had to do it. Yeah. And then after that, there was definitely no time to redo anything. So, you know, but yeah, anyway. Cool.
So that's the RX.
That's RX.
Now we go to our trusty wise people,
the wise
of the Masters
men and women.
program.
Yeah, so the Masters program, this and I think probably the Elite Path are the two that really are kind of going their separate ways for, really 2 months because you wait. See you later.
Yeah, go my separate ways.
Just because the Elite obviously have semifinals, which Max will touch on in a few minutes. And then for the age group, you have really a 5-week break after the Open to prep for the qualifiers, for the age group qualifiers. So we will go through the Open as just similar to RX as basically a training or lead up to the age group qualifier. So we will start a new strength progression each of those days. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be regular strength progressions. Tuesday will be a little bit more of that cyclical and kind of what we'll call our stage 2 or the age group qualifier prep. So more things like GHDs and pistols and rope climb, some of the things that we've been touching. And then Saturdays we'll do the same thing, kind of more stage 2 style prep. So expect the weeks to be normal training with a little less volume than what you had in the Open prep cycle. And we'll have 1 week deload after the Open, after that 3rd week. And then we'll go right into another 4 weeks leading up to the age group qualifier, which is the week of April 18th. I think the first day is maybe the 21st or 22nd when those workouts will be released. The one thing I wanted to mention too is through all of these, intermediate, RX, Elite, Masters, we will be giving you detailed plans when the workouts come out. So in the Open, Mia kind of alluded to this, but on Thursday nights, we will have a demo where these two will actually do the workout.
Mike versus Mia.
Me and Max will talk over those, and then we'll also have a detailed warm-up for everyone that's in compete, and then we will have like a pacing plan, like, hey, if you're an intermediate athlete, this is probably where you should be. If you're an RX athlete, this is probably where you should be, so on and so forth. And then we'll do the same thing for quarterfinals, and that's going to be kind of behind the paywall. So just like last year, we will set up a link that you have a passcode, and we'll send that out in a post so everyone gets that via email, and you have to put that passcode in, but that will give you a breakdown of all the quarterfinal workouts, and then when the Masters workouts come out, we'll do the same thing. Yes, super secret. We'll tell you all the details. So I think that's important, right? Like we're trying to give you as much as we can. And the big picture is we have a plan in place for everyone that's in the program. Like we know exactly what intermediate athlete needs, Masters, RX, Elite, and we're trying to help you so you don't have to worry about it this entire season.
Yep.
Does that lead it to me?
That's
Elite.
you.
All right. So Elite is similar to Masters.
That's the ball.
The the Elite athletes are pretty much going to follow a similar structure as the RX athletes in that quarterfinals is still an important thing and you have to be quasi-peaked for it. There may be a little bit of difference in terms of the total volume of training put in through it, but it's going to follow a very similar structure to RX where we get the open workouts, we see kind of what movements have been tested, what hasn't came out, and we build the training week with some strength progressions that we keep fixed and some cyclical progressions we keep fixed and really try to keep some variation in CrossFit. We'll do the stage 2 simulation in week 2 of the Open. And then the difference is that after quarterfinals, the assumption that everybody in semifinals or in the Elite path makes semifinals. So we'll do a quick taper or a quick deload right after quarterfinals and then move that into semifinal prep. And what we learned last year is semifinal prep in a group program is quite difficult because there's 4 weekends.
Yep.
So it became very difficult to try to figure out, well, how do I prepare? Do I train to the second weekend? Do I train to the third weekend?
And all their tests were so different.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's anything that we can do about that. I know this year CrossFit is mandating that 2 of the tests are the same at all the semifinals.
They said that last year too.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they said that Castro was going to be having control and overseeing, making sure that there's consistency in it.
A big to do about it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually going to happen.
Realistic. Yeah. So the difference this year is that what we're doing is that anybody that's a semifinal athlete that's posting in the semifinal that is in there at the start of the Open that makes it through to semifinals is going to get a semi-individualized coaching process, which basically is going to be a training program written to peak you for whatever weekend your semifinal is. And the only way we can really do that is knowing who's posting in the elite path and knowing after that if they made semifinals.
Yep.
So if you are a semifinals athlete and you have been interested in having some individualized coaching by TTT, even though we've been on a wait list, this would kind of be an opportunity for you to get some sort of a hybrid oversight where you get some contact with a coach, you have me kind of writing some sort of a taper structure into that weekend, and you have some sort of guidance when the workouts come out based on how your training has been and what types of strategies you can realistically hold for those workouts. So
I would just
Love it.
quickly mention that the program is $49 per month if you just pay the normal rate. Max's coaching, I have no idea where you're at. It's 15 times more than that with just like the demand that Max has and the people that are reaching out. So I think that's like a unbelievable deal for those that are signing up now, that essentially they can have your coaching and then all of our other minds that are in here helping them prep for semifinals without having to pay that normal cost.
yeah, so I think it'll be a good process for people that they have a very structured, semi-individualized way to have as good of a season as they can all the way through semifinals. Now, most people don't qualify for the games out of semifinals, but if they do qualify, obviously my goal is to have some athletes that make semifinals. The elite division will train all the way through the games based on that. And anybody that doesn't make it essentially runs into the limiter season and trains with RX athletes on a little bit less volume for the couple months between the last semifinal and the CrossFit Games. And then the elite division kicks back off with the newest cycle, which then happens after the CrossFit Games. So that's basically the program matches the season in that intermediates train, their season ends a little bit earlier. RX athletes, their season ends a little bit later. Masters athletes, most of them ends a little bit later. Elite athletes then are the last to go. And I think you'll kind of do the same process with Masters athletes that make it through, because now they
also have a semifinal. Yeah.
So we'll have to just be in touch with the athletes that are in that make it through each division, basically.
Yeah, that is actually one thing that I
stage.
didn't mention. For those that do make the next age group, the stage 3, we're going to help you. It'll be basically individually written too, just like we did last year with some athletes. And then those that make it to the games, the same process will take place. So the majority of Masters athletes that don't make it will have a normal program for you. For those that do make it, we'll individually write. So essentially you're getting, again, that payment for a group program, but we're helping you. We want to be loyal to the people that have been loyal to us. And so that's a great way that we can help you.
What do you think about the plan of me doing quarterfinals individual, quarterfinals team, and Masters?
No.
You're on my team.
Yeah.
The trifecta this year.
I think you should do it. Let me judge you.
No way. I would not be able to
Team is
walk.
the weekend before, 2 weeks before Masters.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks, yeah.
Basically every 2 weeks
Yeah.
there'd be a qualifier.
I think it would be good training.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. I'll just hop in and do all the teenage workouts too.
Nice.
Just get it all done.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
How will you feel when you lose like a 15-year-old?
It's very possible. 15-year-olds are crazy fit now.
They're really good.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch?
No, man. I'm excited for the season. I think we got a great plan in place, and I'm really excited to see everyone in the group throw down and just watch this whole year of hard work come to head. Fruition. Yeah.
Are you as excited as Mike?
You know, as they say, this is the most wonderful time of the year.
It
No,
is.
they don't. They say that about Christmas. And they start saying it in November.
Why? It's not even December yet.
Tom Brady's doing this Open.
Is he?
That's why he retired.
He's
don't get
changing
me.
to CrossFit.
Don't get me started. The GOAT. All right, y'all.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Bye.